Welcome to another Walter Football video. I'm Charlie Campbell, Senior Draft Analyst, the most accurate mock drafter in the world. All right, let's get into a mock draft. Here we are, beginning of December, end of the regular season for college football. We're going to have a lot of changes coming up here with players deciding to go back to school. Maybe some guys we don't anticipate coming out decide to enter the draft. So let's just kind of get into where things stand right now. You can follow along below on the website. Click the link there, and then you can also check out the rest of round 2. I'll just hit on the picks in round 2 for teams that do not have a first rounder after we go through the top 32 here. So let's get into this mock. First overall, I have the Titans taking David Bailey, the edge rusher from Texas Tech. Very interesting to me decision here for the Titans. First decision, do we take a quarterback and trade Cam Ward? That's the evaluation they have to do, number one, whether they take Mendoza, Ty Simpson, someone like that. Do they like that and believe in that quarterback more than they believe in Cam Ward? If they do, they should take him, and they should trade Cam Ward. Maybe you could trade him to a team like, say, Pittsburgh or Arizona and get a first-round pick for him. So that's decision number one for the Titans. Then let's say they decide they're not going to trade Cam Ward. They're going to stick with him, build around him. Then you're trying to trade down. Probably would be able to do it. I would think there would be a team that would want to move up for the top quarterback prospect. If you move down, then what are you're looking at, or if you're forced to stick and pick and you're sticking with Cam Ward, now you're looking at taking the best non-quarterback available. Who's it going to be? By draft day, it wouldn't shock me if an edge rusher like David Bailey ended up kind of rising to be that. He had 13.5 sacks, a bunch of forced fumbles, was a terror off the edge. Arvell Reese has all the buzz, of course, but he's a hybrid linebacker. He can rush. He's really good dropping in coverage. You really don't see these kind of linebackers go first overall. For a team to take an edge defender that high, it's typically a guy that is a real quarterback hunter or a dynamic interior defender or a shutdown corner, say like third overall with Derek Stingley. So for the Titans, I could see Bailey being more the natural fit, where you kind of see the clear path into how this guy is going to be used. He's going to be our kind of lead dog edge rusher for our defense for years to come. So that's kind of the thought process that I'm looking at right now with them, but we'll see how things go and if they win more games and if they drop lower in the order. Okay, enough with the first pick. Second overall, Giants, I have them taking Caden Proctor. Now, I'm not a big fan of Proctor, but I know a lot of teams that graded him think he's a top 20 player. They have concerns about the weight. They think he'll drop a lot to try and ease those concerns at Combine and Pro Day, but can he keep it off? Can he play at a good weight? But he's very talented. Obviously, the Giants need help at right tackle. Proctor could potentially be that guy for them. Third overall, I have the Saints taking Ty Simpson, the quarterback from Alabama. I think this is going to be interesting debate between him and Mendoza, but in the Saints, we'll see if Tyler Shough can lock down that starting quarterback job for next season. If so, then they can go a different route. But if he doesn't play well over the final games, then you have to get a quarterback if you have the shot at it if you're New Orleans. Fourth overall, I have the Raiders taking Fernando Mendoza. They could draft him, let him sit behind Geno Smith for a year, potentially half a season, develop him. Don't have to rush him on the field when you have a veteran there like Smith, and then you can turn it over to Mendoza and build around him for the long term. Fifth overall, I have the Browns taking Dante Moore, quarterback from Oregon. This similar situation with Deshaun Watson coming back next season, they could sit a quarterback behind him. Of course, we got these final games, maybe Shedeur Sanders plays well enough where they're excited that he could be the long-term guy, or we can at least have a viable competition between him and Watson next season, and we can go a different route. So going to be really fascinating final month of the season for some of these teams that are picking high in the first round, like Cleveland, the Raiders, the Saints, all with quarterback kind of decisions. Even the Titans now with Cam Ward, if they're picking 1 overall, as we hit on. What about the Giants with what direction they might go if they're picking? If they get the number 1 pick, then you're probably looking to trade down, build around Dart. So it's going to be really fascinating in these final few weeks of the year. Okay, back to the mock. 6th overall, I have Washington taking Jeremiah Love, the running back from Notre Dame. Could really help Jaden Daniels in year 2, give them a guy that is just going to supercharge that run game. He is just an amazing instinctive runner, tremendous pass blocker, good receiver, just so dynamic in terms of his elusiveness, the moves he has in the open field. He's just incredible. So if you want to help Jaden Daniels rebound from this second season that's kind of gotten away from Washington, then you take a guy like Love, give him better down and distance situations, add a running game to that offense. That's going to make Daniels' job a lot easier in year 3. Jets picking 7th overall. I have them taking Arvell Reese, going best player available, add a dynamic defender to the middle of Aaron Glenn's defense. 8th overall, I have the Cardinals taking Lenora Sellers, quarterback from South Carolina. Looking like Kyler Murray's on his way out in Arizona. Sellers could be the replacement there. 9th overall, I have the Rams taking Caleb Downs, the safety from Ohio State. Rams going BPA, getting them a safety to pair with Cam Kinchins. I think Downs would be a tremendous player in that scheme that they run. If they're still running the same scheme, they might lose their DC to a head coaching job. 10th overall, I have the Bengals taking Keldrick Falk, the defensive end from Auburn. Give them a bookend edge rusher to go with Shamar Stewart, someone who's big and sturdy, can defend the run as well, which is important in that division. So I like that fit for Cincinnati there, 10th overall. 11th, I have the Vikings taking Mansour Delane, the cornerback from LSU. They need more difference makers at corner. They need more long-term starters. Delane could be a plug-and-play guy for them. 12th overall, I have Miami taking Isaiah World, a tackle from Oregon. Obviously, Miami needs more offensive line help. World would give them some size, some physicality, improved pass protection there for the Dolphins. 13th overall, I have the Chiefs taking Kenyon Sadiq, the tight end from Oregon. Give them their replacement for Travis Kelce. They need more weapons for Pat Mahomes. Sadiq is a mismatch nightmare. Could be a really tremendous fit in that offense in Kansas City. 14th overall, I have the Steelers taking Jordan Tyson, the wide receiver from Arizona State. Give them a natural route running guy that can get open, uncover, could really help them across from DK Metcalf. I think Tyson would be a nice fit there for the Steelers. 15th overall, I have the Panthers taking Reuben Bain, the defensive end from Miami. Give them an edge rusher to pair with Nick Scorton and Princely Umanamelian. I think that if you have a trio, that's going to make those guys better. They were second-day picks, so I don't think that, blocks them from taking a defensive end in the first round. I think it's still a high priority for Carolina to improve that edge rush. 16th overall, I have Dallas taking Zion Young, the edge rusher from Missouri. Give them an edge rusher for that defense with the improved interior that could really help Dallas come next season. Zion Young, super talented, size, speed, really impressive every time I watched him this season with Missouri. 17th overall, I have the Lions taking Will Held, edge rusher from Clemson. This is kind of the part of the mocks, and I think we're going to see in these drafts where you're going to get a lot of true second rounders because this draft is not great, but Will Held, Zion Young, Cassius Howell, some of the other edge rushers that could go in the first round, Damon Wilson from Missouri. I think a lot of these guys, some teams are going to view as more of a second rounder, but in this draft, some of them are going to go in the first. And I think Will Held would be a great fit in Detroit. He's big, he's fast, has a lot of upside, good size and length, could be a nice edge rusher to pair with Aiden Hutchinson. 18th overall, I have the Texans taking Francis Magoa, the right tackle from Miami. Give them a bookend along with Ariante Ursary from last year. Protect C.J. Stroud. I think Magoa would be a nice fit there in Houston. 19th overall, I have the Ravens taking L.T. Overton, the defensive lineman from Alabama. Very versatile defensive lineman. Overton can line up as a 3 technique in the sub. You can put him as a big base end in the base package. I think he'd be a nice fit there for Baltimore. 20th overall, I have the Bucks taking Damon Wilson, the edge rusher from Missouri. Tampa Bay needs more edge rush across from Yaya Diaby. They have some good interior, obviously. Vita Vea, tremendous. Cansey will be coming off injury. So I think you get another edge rusher, and that defense is going to be a lot better next season. 21st overall, I have the Bills taking Denzel Boston, the wide receiver from Washington. Give them another weapon for Josh Allen, kind of going BPA here. Keon Coleman, this has been a really almost lost season there in Buffalo. I think they need more weapons for Josh Allen, and Boston, I think, would be a nice fit. 22nd overall, I have the Eagles taking Cassius Howell, the edge rusher from Texas A&M. Give them a quarterback hunter. They need more edge rush youth. They've obviously Brandon Graham can't play forever. They lost guys in free agency. Here's some more young talent to help them. 23rd overall, I have the Jets taking Caden McDonald, the nose tackle from Ohio State. Give them a replacement for Quinnen Williams. 24th overall, I have the 49ers taking Spencer Fano, the right tackle from Utah. As we had in one of the hot press, some teams were really disappointed in his tape this season and think he should go back. I think he still could go early, because it only takes one team, and I could see other teams really being enamored with the skill set still with him. So very interesting prospect. I feel uncomfortable mocking him right now because I think it's very fluid, whereas he could go earlier, he could go later. Tough guy to peg at this point. But the 49ers could use more youth on the offensive line. They have good coaching there. I think they could work with Fano and really tap into that upside and potential. 25th overall, I have the Chargers taking Brandon Cease, the cornerback from South Carolina. I think they could use more long-term corners. Cease is a nice skill set, really had a good season on tape for the Gamecocks. 26th overall, I have the Browns taking Chris Bell, the wide receiver from Louisville. Give their quarterback, whoever it is, another weapon. Bell is a lot like A.J. Brown. I think he could be a really nice fit there for Cleveland. 27th overall, I have Dallas taking Will Lee, the cornerback from Texas A&M. I could see them moving on from Trayvon Diggs after this season based on the contract and what they paid Deron Bland. They took Siobhan Revel in the 3rd round. He's had some struggles, but he's only a rookie. He should develop and get better, and he's coming off injury as well. So you could get cheaper by moving on from Diggs, draft a guy. Now you have a talented young trio potentially. 28th overall, I have Seattle taking Carnell Tate, the wide receiver from Ohio State. Give them another Buckeye receiver, but a guy with some size on the outside could pair nicely with Jackson Smith-Njigba. Now we got 29th overall, Rams again. I have them taking Jermod McCoy, the cornerback from Tennessee. He would probably go a lot higher if he had avoided injury and had played this season and played like he did in 2024, probably a top 10 pick. But he misses this season with injury. The 2024 tape is really good. And in this draft, I could still see teams feeling like this is a true first rounder, and there aren't that many of them in this draft class. So Rams could take McCoy, give them more answers on the outside, long-term starters there. They've done a really nice job with their mid-round picks and kind of veteran additions of piecing it together, but McCoy could be a true number 1 for them. So 30th overall, we have the Broncos. I have them taking Peter Woods, the 3 technique defensive tackle from Clemson. Here, Denver's just going BPA, adding more young talent to that defense. I'd prefer to have had a good receiver available, but they're gone. And just looking at who's on the board, you can never invest enough in your defensive line. I know Sean Payton is, very cognizant of that, given how they drafted with the Saints all his years there. In terms of O-line, D-line, they really hammered the lines hard in the early rounds, and I could see Denver following that pattern for many years to come here. 31st overall, I have the Bears taking Amari Washington, the defensive tackle from Oregon. Really freaky skill set, big, super quick and athletic for a guy that size. I could see Washington rising through the workouts, just really impressing there, and the upside just being very enamored, causing a lot of teams to really be intrigued with what they could do with him. So Chicago, I think, needs more long-term starters on the defensive line. Washington could be a fit for them. 32nd overall, I have the Patriots taking Caleb Lomu, the left tackle from Utah. Give them a bookend to pair with Will Campbell. Morgan Moses isn't a long-term starter. Keep on developing the protection for Drake May. I think that'd make a lot of sense for New England. All right, let's get into the teams that don't have first-round picks. First up, we have Atlanta. I have them taking Domaney Jackson, the cornerback from Alabama. They could use more cornerback talent across from A.J. Terrell. I think Jackson could be a solid day 2 guy for them. 54th overall, I have the Colts taking Darrell Jackson Jr., the defensive tackle from Florida State. They could use more youth on the inside of that defensive line. Darrell Jackson's a nice player. I think he could contribute quickly for Indianapolis. 57th overall, I have the Jaguars taking T.J. Parker, edge rusher from Clemson. The Jags could use more young edge rush talent. I think Parker, at that point in the draft, could be a solid pick for them. 59th overall, the Packers taking Amari Farrell, the cornerback / safety from Indiana. Green Bay has tended to like these kind of defensive backs. Farrell has really instinctive, a lot of splash plays over the past few seasons. I could see Green Bay feeling really comfortable with how they're going to use him as a hybrid cornerback safety potential guy, and that could free up Xavier McKinney to kind of rove around as well and use him in a variety of ways. So I like that fit for Green Bay. So that's the latest mock. Check out all the other prospect rankings and everything else we got going up on walterfootball.com. I appreciate all of you guys. Please like, subscribe, all that stuff. I'll be back with you soon. Take care. Love to all of you.